I went on Instagram and asked you guys to ask any questions you might have about me, and honestly, I expected things like, what's your favorite color, what's your favorite band, what's your favorite song, what do you like to do for fun, but you guys hit me with the deep questions. So today, we are going to be getting the deep answers. My name is Lily Mwenda. Hi, if you're new here, welcome. I am a 20-year-old student currently studying at the Technical University of Kenya, and I'm taking electrical and electronics engineering. I love creating YouTube videos. I also love creating content on other platforms. So welcome. Introductions aside, let's get right into the video. Firstly, I don't really think of myself as cool, at least not in the way people usually mean cool. I think I'm cool to myself, and I feel like that's very different from being cool to others, because I don't really think there's one fixed definition of what being cool actually is. What one person finds cool, someone else might not even notice. So I've never really tried to measure myself against that. I think for me, being cool is just being comfortable existing as myself, not existing perfectly, not always confident, but just not constantly trying to be something else. I think your environment kind of plays a role in this also, because you can be fully yourself, but if you're in a space where that version of you isn't accepted or understood and is even rejected, it can make you feel like you're the one who's doing something wrong. And over time, you find yourself slowly adjusting, shrinking parts of yourself or exaggerating other parts just so you can fit into that environment. So sometimes it's not even about you not being yourself, it's also about the environment around you and whether it allows you to be yourself. For me, I've found that I feel the most like myself in spaces where I can explore who I am freely. And sometimes that's not even physical spaces like you might imagine. Sometimes it's with people. People can be an environment. With specific people, I feel free to be myself. I feel free to express myself. Even online, when I'm creating videos, these are spaces where I feel like I can actually see myself more clearly. Good morning, it's finally the day. Let me tell you, it has been raining all night and part of the morning, but finally the sun rays are starting to peek out, because literally I don't need a day of jumping around in mud. I know yesterday I was like, maybe I want it to be a bit cold. Did I say that? I think I thought that, but I actually really need it to be sunny. And yeah, it's 8:13. I want to shower, get ready, and leave by 8:45, 9, and I'm excited to go. So we just pray that the sun actually works out for us this time, but I think it's going to work out. Okay guys, I'm ready, I'm done, my hair is done, the outfit is done. I'm going to go and show you at the mirror, because even if I do this, you can't see nothing. But as you can see from the top, I'm trying out a different color. This is actually one of my favorite colors, so you're on point. I have my 2 gifts with me and my bag. I won't be carrying an umbrella, so we pray that the weather will just wait till the clouds are gone. The sky is so blue, let me show you. Look at that. Today is my lucky day. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. Now the weather just needs to stay like that. Not too hot, but not cold, you know? We love that. So I want to leave right now. I'm also carrying just a scarf, shawl kind of thing, just in case it gets cold, because I'm not carrying a jacket, so that I can be able to just shove this all around myself and be okay. I want to leave because I'm kind of late, and yeah. I am able to express myself and also understand myself at the same time. I also think being cool, if we even want to call it that, comes from being super curious about yourself. Like actually wanting to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, you know, the basics, but also the deep things. What makes you feel something, what doesn't make you feel something, and then slowly building your life around those things. It's not just about knowing the things, you also need to build your life around them in a way that's not perfect, but just small. The way you dress, the way you speak, things you notice, the way you spend your time. All of those things slowly start to reflect you more and more, and that is seen as cool. When someone is living in a way that feels aligned with who they are, it shows in a very subtle way, and that's really the secret. The secret is just the opposite of what you expect. The secret of being quote unquote cool is not trying to be cool, because I think the more you try to be something, the further you move away from being yourself, and people can feel that. I believe that everyone has a certain energy or frequency or a way of being that's just unique to themselves, and when you're able to tap into that and actually live from that place, your life starts to feel a bit more coherent, like things make sense together. And again, I don't think there's a formula for how to find that. I think it comes from spending more time with yourself, noticing yourself, being honest about what feels right and what doesn't. So yeah, I don't really think I'm quote unquote cool. I just think I'm learning how to be myself and how to let others see me as myself. We have arrived. Someone asked what joy means to me. I have thought about that for a while because it's not something I experience in a loud or a constant way. I think joy for me is very physical. It's a physical feeling in my chest. It's not just overwhelming happiness. It's more like a deep sense of I am okay and I am in this moment and I am here and I am alive. And I've noticed that I usually feel the most joy when I'm in nature, when I'm outside, when things are still or things are messy, when the sky is calm or the sky is cloudy, when it's rainy or sunny, when there's nothing really demanding anything from me. There's something about being in nature that reminds me that I am human in a very freeing way. Like the trees, the hills, the grass, literally nature that surrounds me reminds me that I am human. I can be imperfect. When I look at the hills, the ups and downs, the hills and valleys, it reminds me that life can be good, life can be bad, life can be hard, life can be easy. When I look at the sky and the clouds have gathered and the thunder is rolling and the lightning is flashing, rain is coming down, it reminds me that I can let loose, I can cry my heart out and I'll still be okay. Nature doesn't ask you to be anything. It doesn't need you to perform, to prove yourself, to explain who you are. It just allows you to exist in your life. And that's where joy for me comes from. It comes from the feeling of not having to earn my place in the moment. Even something small like just walking outside or sitting outside while it's raining, standing outside in the rain, sitting somewhere on grass, literally touching grass. These moments make me feel more connected to myself. And I think that's what joy is for me. It's not really big dramatic happiness, but other moments where I feel present enough to notice that I am alive. What I fear most. Oh my god, the question itself is making me afraid. My first instinct was to say something like regret, something very general. But when I think about it more, it's a bit more specific than that. I think what I really fear is losing something that could have been good because I was way too much in my own head, especially when it comes to people, friendships, connections, relationships that had the potential to grow into something meaningful. I've had moments where things didn't end because they had to, but because I didn't handle them well. I overthought things, I misread situations, or I pulled away too quickly instead of trying to understand. And at that time, it felt justified. It felt like I was protecting myself. But when I look back, I realized that some of those things could have worked through. They really didn't have to end the way they did. And I think that's what stays with me. Not just that something ended, but the fact that it ended because of how I handled it. Because I really value people. I like getting to know people, both on the surface and at a deeper level. I want to know the quirky bits about someone, the funny thoughts they think about, the ways in which they want to move through life. I like understanding people because I like being understood. So the idea of losing something like that, not because it wasn't real, but because I couldn't get out of my own head, that's really what I fear. And I think that fear has also made me more aware of how I show up in relationships, of when I might be overthinking or pulling away or assuming things that aren't true. I don't really think I've figured it out yet, how to be able to work things out properly, but I'm starting to notice it more, and maybe that's where my change begins. Be careful with the headbutts. Just give one pellet at a time. By awareness of life, we are inspired to live. Life is consciousness of life itself. The measure of your life is the amount of beauty and happiness of which you are aware. I actually did not read this, but I heard it in a YouTube video and wrote it down in my notebook. This idea made me realize that maybe a life that feels full is not about what you have, but what you're able to notice. I think there will always be difficult things in this world. There will always be someone suffering somewhere, something heavy, something unfair. And I don't think the answer is really to ignore that, but I don't don't think the answer is to only see that. Because at the same time, while there was in one place, there's also still beauty and small moments, things that feel good even if they don't last very long. I think you can learn to be able to hold ugly truths in your mind and to be able to try and make things better while also still realizing that the earth is a beautiful place. There's happiness and beauty around you. If you're not aware of the happiness, the beauty, the art, the life around you, it's almost like it doesn't even exist. Not because it's really not there, but because you're not present enough to experience it. I think for a long time, I believed so strongly that certain things would make me feel like I was really alive and happy, like reaching a certain goal, getting a certain thing, becoming a certain version of myself, becoming the most secure version of myself, healing from every other thing that I've experienced. And despite the fact that those things matter, I don't think they automatically make you feel happy and alive. I think what makes you feel happy and alive is being aware while your life is happening, paying attention and being present enough to actually experience your own life.
So as you can see behind me, we have Chelsea and Barbie. Chelsea and Barbie, and there is Patricia taking photos of me. The sun is nice, high in the sky, and there are no clouds. Do you see? Do you see there are no clouds? They're the giraffes. We've fed one of them, I think, from there. That's why we're feeding them. And then they get tired and they walk back this way. So they have like a nice balance of human interaction and alone time, which I think is what everyone needs in this life, especially me. I think my sister would love seeing these giraffes.
I'm not gonna lie, this question stayed with me more than I expected, and it's a hard one to answer because I don't really think I have a clear answer for it. I've spent most of my life being in a state of doing, achieving, working towards something, trying to improve, trying to become. I've always been someone who loves achieving and a deep perfectionist at heart. I'm trying to recover, so we'll see how that goes. So the idea of not being anything, literally just existing without having to prove my existence, without direction or output, it feels not just unfamiliar but very scary to me and uncomfortable. Like there's a part of me that immediately wants to fill my life with some sort of achievement, a task, a goal, a thought, anything.
What are you watching? Show us. Make that a sound. Make it now.
And I think I've gotten used to associating my value with what I'm doing, with how productive I am, or how much I'm building, how much I'm creating. So when I stop doing those things, a really weird feeling comes up. I feel very sad when I'm just existing, not doing anything. Like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be in the moment. And I think that's why this question is pretty difficult for me to answer, because it's not just asking who I am, it's asking who I am without anything to hold on to. And honestly, I don't think I know the full answer yet. I really envy people who are able to exist without goals they're chasing, without things they're after. I want to learn that I am enough even without a goal I'm working towards. Even when I'm unproductive, I still am human and it's okay. Maybe I don't need to constantly be defined by action. Maybe there's a version of me that exists when nothing is being achieved. I just probably haven't spent enough time with that version yet, or maybe I don't know how to recognize her. So I don't think I can say I know who I am in those moments yet, but I think I'm learning that I don't always have to rush to define and to answer questions immediately. The answer will just come to me over time. Do you have a boyfriend? What are your views on marriage? No, I don't have a boyfriend. I think I've reached a point where I don't feel pressured by that question in a rush kind of way. It's not something I feel like I need to have figured out right now. For me, I'm still in a phase of learning about myself, like really understanding who I am when I'm not trying to fit into a relationship or build my life around someone else. And I don't say that in a way that rejects relationships. I think relationships are actually very beautiful, but they also require a level of emotional clarity and stability that I don't think I want to rush into, because I've noticed that when I don't fully understand myself, I can easily lose myself in other people, in their needs, their expectations, their presence. So right now, I think I'm more interested in building a solid sense of self first before I even get to share that space with someone else. When it comes to marriage, I don't really think I have a fixed opinion. Sometimes I think it's a really beautiful idea. I mean, the idea of choosing someone, growing with them over time. And other times, I think about how complex it actually is. Two people, different histories, different ways of thinking, building one shared life, living forever together. That's not simple. I think I believe that with the right person, it's worth it. Not easier by any means, just worth it. Because most of life is weighing whether the choices you make, the people, the things you do with your money and your time and your life are worth the effort and the sacrifice. Marriages, relationships, love itself are not going to be easy, are probably very hard, but I think with the right person, it's worth the difficulty. So I don't romanticize it. I don't also reject it completely. I think my view on it is still forming and maybe will keep on forming for a long time. But I don't think I need to decide everything about it right now. It's something I'll understand more clearly, not just through thought, but through experience. So for now, I'm just in a space of not rushing it, not closing the door, just letting it be undefined.
Wow. When this is sizzling.
What makes you you? This question feels like it goes way deeper the more I sit with it, because I don't think there's one simple answer to what makes someone them. A sense of self is something so complex and yet so simple. I think one part of this question's answer is memory. The way we remember ourselves makes us ourselves, the way we connect different versions of who we've been over time, because you're not one fixed version of yourself. You are a process constantly changing. Even from last year, a few months ago, 10 years ago, there are small shifts in how you think, in how you feel, how you respond to things, and these shifts change you constantly. So in that sense, I think what holds you together is the continuity of memory, the fact that you can look back and recognize that all those versions were still you. But at the same time, I don't think we're only our memories. I also think there's something more subtle than that. Maybe something that doesn't change as easily as everything else does. Maybe it's not a big and obvious thing, but rather just a way of being. Like maybe a certain instinct, a certain emotional way of thinking, a certain sensitivity. Something small that stays with you even as everything else shifts. And I don't think we always notice it in ourselves, but I think other people sometimes do. They see patterns in you that you don't always see clearly. Also, I think the environment shapes us a lot more than we like to admit. The people around us, the places we grow up in, the things we're exposed to, they all somehow influence how we think, how we behave, and who we become. But even then, I don't think that explains everything. Because two people can grow up in similar environments and still become completely different versions of themselves. So maybe it's not either or. Maybe we are both shaped by everything around us and also shaped by something inside us that resists being fully changed. And I think that's what makes it complicated. There isn't a clean answer. It's just layers of influence, memory, experience, and something that stays constant underneath it all. So when I think about what makes me me, I don't think I can point to one thing. I think it's the combination of all the versions of myself I've been and something small that has stayed with me through all of them.
Thank you for enjoying the day with us. Sawa?